Oh, people opened doors and had balls in their face.
Hello everybody, I am Tom and you are watching me break down Warframe. The Devstream was on earlier today. There was Devstream 130, and I'm just going to go over pretty quickly the stuff they went through. If you're interested in watching it, I would suggest go and watching it. It's on Warframe's YouTube channel. Goes for just over an hour, about an hour and 20 minutes. They went a bit over today because they wanted to show some Empyrean stuff. But first things first, we'll look at some Nightwave stuff. They talked about the fact that this series actually may be extended slightly. Then they're going to have a brief intermission before they go into the next series, similar to what they did between Series 1 and 2. But with the new catch-up mechanic, it should be easier for players who are coming in later to be able to catch up, so they're less worried about extending stuff going forward into the future, because the catch-up mechanic is just so good at allowing players who come in later to be able to actually complete the required tasks. Next, they had a look at Equinox Deluxe skin. It looks alright, in my opinion. I'll check it up now. The biggest problem I have with it is the fact that the Equinox Prime skin looks better, in my opinion. It doesn't look... like, this one looks really, really good, but I think the Equinox Prime skin is better, so I think I'm probably just going to end up using the Equinox Prime skin instead. The Avara Deluxe skin was also shown, again, right here. Now this one, in contrast to the Equinox skin, I absolutely love this skin. It looks fantastic, and it's going to be my Avara skin going forward. I think this looks even better than a lot of the Avara Tenogen skins, which are all fantastic unto themselves as well. A very small note they mentioned was that Sentinel Rivens, or Sentinel Rivens for the Sentinel weapons, are being moved to Samaris, so they're no longer in the regular Riven pool, so if you're worried about getting Rivens for your Sentinel weapons when you don't really want them, you don't have to worry about that anymore. They talked about Gauss and Grendel. They're actually separating their release. They were going to be released together. They're now doing Gauss in the next mainline update, hopefully sometime near the end of August, and Grendel will be coming later in a separate update. They showed Gauss's signature weapons. He has a primary called the Accelitra, I think is how it was pronounced. It looks like just an energy rifle, essentially, like an energy assault rifle. It looks pretty damn cool, and it sounded really cool as well. The secondary was like a sort of dual sidearm. I think they had explosive bolts. It seems like they were, like travel time bolts that then hit the ground and exploded. That seems what it was to me, anyway. They didn't look anywhere as cool as the Accelerator to me. They were called the Acarius or Axarius or something. We then moved on to Grendel.
Damn, boy, he's thick!
And all his powers are all based around eating. His first power is called Feast, where he just eats dudes. That's all he does. Apparently, the more enemies he has in his belly, the more armor he has. You can also pick up items by doing this, so you can hold his one and suck up a bunch of items from a distance as well. And you're required to have at least one enemy in you for you to use your 2 and your 4. Speaking of your 2, that is called Consume, so you suck the enemies into your stomach, you can then consume them, or digest them, and that will give you a buff. Currently there is an energy boost buff, a toxin damage AoE, and an armor buff, apparently. His third power is Regurgitate. He literally just spits out the enemies he has in his stomach. I don't know specifically the purpose of this, other than to get him out of you. I think they probably, like, it does damage to them when you spit them out. I think it does, like, an explosion of, like, toxic damage or something, they said, but interesting. And his fourth ultimate ability is called Meatball. Probably tentative title, I don't know if they change it, although I hope they keep it because it sounds hilarious. But you turn into like a physics-based Katamari ball, essentially, where you roll around and anything you run into you will consume and get bigger. And you can just roll around really fast. It looks like a lot of fun. I don't know how useful it's going to be in a lot of situations, but it looks really cool and fun. And I'm more than happy to have a Warframe that has an ultimate ability that's meh, as long as it's very, very fun. They didn't go into his passive, so I don't know what that is. They also were talking about Disruption game mode that was introduced last mainline, I believe they introduced Disruption. But that was an Alad Veeg type thing, and it seems he's now sold that to the other factions, so they're doing more Disruption modes with different factions. And they also said, there was a question from the chat was asking about that they really liked the game mode, and that the problem was that the rewards were kind of crap, which I agree with entirely. And Steve picked up on that, and he said, yeah, they're actually going to go in and they're going to rework a lot of the rewards in general for Disruption to make it more worthwhile to actually go on. and play, particularly for like endgame players. They're going to do some harder disruption modes where you can go in and get better rewards. I think they mentioned specifically the Kuva Fortress. They're going to give away to get Kuva by doing disruption in the Kuva Fortress. And finally, they talked about Empyrean. I don't have a whole lot to say about this, in all honesty. It's probably better if you go and watch it on their video, which I know kind of defeats the purpose of my sum-up video, but they went into a few things there, and a lot of that is like show rather than tell. And I could just like show you the Empyrean section, but you may as well just go over to their YouTube channel and watch it on there. It's like the last 15-20 minutes is all Empyrean stuff. But they go into a fair amount of it there, and it's probably easier to watch that than it would be for me to explain it. But that was about it. They then finished off after the Empyrean stuff. But that was it for Devstream number 130. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you're not subscribed already, please consider subscribing. And as always, thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye, guys.
Oh, people opened doors and had balls in their face.